Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What's up, fam? Birds of a Feather, live from the Real Talk Studios. It is the start of the NFL season, finally.
Woo! Let's go!
Let's go! Finally here. First half of the show brought to you by Gibson Mayer. Our certified public accountants, make them yours, gibsonmayer.com. Our Scanzano Sports poll question, guys. How many wins will the Eagles have in the 2018 regular season? 16, undefeated. Which seems like a stretch. Real talk. 13, 10, 7 or less. Chrome with Charles, as always, buddy. It's season. We're ready to go.
Let's go. Let's do this. We're back.
As we all know, Ryan Brodo is over there getting his golf game on over in Scotland or somewhere over in Europe, wherever he is in Europe.
Taking pictures at like castles and stuff like that.
And filling in is our resident LA Crumb. I'm kidding, Ralphie. I love you. Ralphie D over here on the ones and twos. Ralphie.
Good
to have you, buddy.
What's up, man?
Looking forward
to our show.
Yeah, man. We're talking football. This is his first time producing Birds of a Feather. We're pretty stoked about it. But guys, fam, join us. YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram. Second week we're on Instagram. We're looking forward to talking to you guys. It's a big week. It's the NFL season. We're going to go through. We're going to talk Eagles. We're going to talk. We're going to have divisional picks. We're going to do playoffs. We're going to do awards. You have to tell me what that is. I don't know what awards we're giving out, but we're giving them out. No, I think it's us picking the awards, right? Our predictions for the awards this season. And no huddle, as usual, because you know we love no huddle. We love spouting out a little bit of randomness.
We gotta touch on whatever comes to mind. Around the sports league, and there's a lot going on.
There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
But welcome, fam. We're looking forward to talking, and we already got the comments dropping in here. Jesse Ramon Nichols, he says 9-7. Interesting. Tom Arnone, the Godfather himself.
What up, Tommy?
12-4. Let's go, fam. Brian Daly, 13-3. Get it done, boys. Steve Morantz. Well, at least 2 against the Skins. You got that right. Alfredo Maldonado, 12-4. Greg Malakovic, I can't read his, so we'll read his last.
He says, okay. What's you sexy SOBs? Now that Nicky One Glove is playing, my total is dropping to 10 wins. I'll be pissed if he's starting in Nashville when I'm there.
Oh, boy. John Malmus, if we win Thursday, 12-4. If we lose, 11-5. Okay. Nicole DiGiacomo Rathbone says, Charles, is that you?
It's my old manager.
There you
Nicole.
go.
Hi,
it
Nicole.
is Charles. And Mike Dandria chiming in, 11-5 NFC East champions.
Let's go.
What do we got over? You have anything on
YouTube?
We got
David Roscoe always always popping off on our chat rooms first.
My man Roscoe, a half hour before showtime, always the first one in. We love you, Roscoe.
He says, I'm ready for football. Oh, hell yeah, Eagles, Falcons. To me, it's all about Rams and Chargers. It's all about the Rams and Raiders. The Raiders are so stupid to trade Mac ridiculously. Tom Arnone should be a head coach of the Raiders. We will get into Mac when we get to the NFC North.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We'll probably talk about the Odell Beckham extension. And I know we touched on it before, but we'll get into all that stuff that went on.
He also says football season's here in 2 days. 11-5 Eagles. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay.
ASMR me of everything says I drafted Goff, David, so I hope he's good this year. And what's up, boys? 2 more days. Yes.
I think Goff's going to have a good season this year yet again.
Statistically, at least, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I look at Goff very highly. I look at him as definitely, as far as the young quarterbacks, to me, it's Carson, obviously. It's Jimmy GQ. We love Jimmy GQ.
Gotta love Jimmy GQ.
I would put Goff at least probably in the top 3 or 4 as far as young quarterbacks.
I think he's a tier. To me, it's Wentz, like you said, Wentz, Jimmy GQ,
Deshaun
and then Watson.
Yeah,
I think those are the 3 in the top tier.
I'd probably put him around 4.
And then Goff is a tier under to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, yeah, guys, first game starting Thursday night, 8:20.
Mm-hmm.
We're hosting Atlanta. So who's pumped, guys? Who's hyped?
I'm not.
I'm
Just
ready.
Kidding.
We decorated.
Of course
We
I've
decorated.
been ready for months.
Eagle
Oh my
season,
God.
man. We decorated this bitch out. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. Obviously, we know that Nick Foles is starting at least the first 2 weeks. How do you guys feel about that in terms of getting off on the right foot, I guess, this season?
I mean, it's not just that Wentz is out and Nick Foles is in. To me, it's the fact that we do have a few guys that are not going to be there. On the offensive side, you already talk about Alshon Jeffrey and Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
Someone who was supposed to step in and be another weapon on the outside, taking that next step in his second season. He's out too.
Well, I saw they also put
yeah.
Rodgers on the.
And the Rodgers is on IR.
he's on
Another
IR.
thing, I think Hollins is playing Thursday night.
Hollins is going to play.
Yeah, I saw a report. I don't know how true it is, but
Yeah,
I'll look
like
out for it.
he's been missing practice, and
Yeah.
so he's not even going to be
Right.
100%. So you have that, and then on the defensive side, we all know Nigel Bradham is serving his 1-game suspension.
Yeah, it's
so
gonna be
he'll
tough.
be out. I think either Graham or Bennett, one of them is not practicing, but they are going to play. But if they're not practicing again, how hurt are they? So with all that, that starts to make you a little bit concerned, because how much are we going to be able to play at our top level of that we can, with all those guys not at 100% or being out. I think Nick Foles, when you have Doug P game planning, and he's putting a system together, game plan together to, again, strengthen Nick Foles' strengths and put him in the best spot where he can get into a rhythm. When you have a strong running game now with Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement coming back for a second season, looking even better as well, that's going to help Nick Foles get into.
Sproles will be back.
Sproles will be back. Yes,
Sproles will be good to go.
Good addition. A great addition getting him back as well.
Yeah.
I think that'll help Foles. I think it'll be tough. Be very, very tough. This is going to be a very close game. I think some fans are quick to say, like, oh, we got this, no way we're losing it. No. I think it's very possible we lose this game. But at the same time, even if we do, do not hit the panic button.
No, well, I felt like coming in, even with Carson starting, this could be an L on the schedule. So I wouldn't be hitting the panic button by any means after this game. The Eagles went and re-signed Marcus Wheaton to help cover some of the shortcomings as far as the receiving game, which I liked. I thought he was okay in preseason, and he's a veteran presence.
He's a veteran guy.
Yeah,
that's all you can ask for.
And you know, he's going to be in the back of the depth chart, but it's another experienced guy to throw out there. Next man up. That's what we did last year. So I'm not going to hit the panic button, win, lose, whatever.
Definitely not.
I think we're going to get a different Nick Foles, because they're going to open the playbook a lot more. They're going to play to win, because in preseason we all talk about it all the time. It's not necessarily playing to win. It's trying to get guys and put guys in a position to show what they have and develop their talents or their skills a little bit. So, I think coming out of the preseason, some of the concerns we talked about, like depth. We have Jason Peters coming back off of a major injury, and Big V did not look good in preseason.
Terrible. He looked very bad.
My boy looked real good. Yeah. And me and Charles talked about this ahead of time. I don't know how you guys reacted on the other shows, but there was one guy on this show, after the draft, who said there's a gentleman with the last name Mailata who could potentially pick up this game very quickly and find a spot on this roster. This guy.
He did.
And
I'll
I'll
give
tell
him all
you what,
credit.
I was super impressed with him in the preseason. And we were talking about last preseason game against the against
the Jets.
The Jets.
Yep.
Just kind of seeing Jason Peters in with those young guys and having the pads on and kind of just showing it. And that's what you want. I mean, if he can, Charles said it on our way here. If he can pick up the game as quickly as he is, he's very possibly a guy who could end up being the future tackle or the heir apparent for Jason Peters. So we talked about Big V, who almost assumes like he has a job on this team. Guess what, buddy? There's a guy who's only been playing the game since July who's pushing you to the max for your position.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome – that ended up being, at this point, an awesome surprise. And I'm looking forward to watching him this season.
Definitely.
And I believe NFL Network, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Elliot Harrison?
Might have been who one of them said that of all the preseason, he was the winner of the preseason as far as
okay. All right.
any team coming out, a guy who surprised you coming out of the preseason and emerged. Mailata.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dion's dropping in. Daniel Perez says R1 lost on Thursday. Michael Dandria says Eagles D going to eat. I can't read Dion's comment. But, Dion, what's up, my man?
What's up, Dion? Dion says, what's up, fellas? Poll question, I still say between 10 and 11 wins. I was listening to Sirius NFL channel today, and Brady Quinn has the Eagles at 7-9 missing the playoffs. LOL. I had to laugh at that prediction.
Brady Quinn.
It's Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn. So
Brady Quinn.
let's take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
We have
Good old Brady Quinn.
we have on YouTube Dick Cheese McGee saying Eagles 12-4 with a brutal schedule. Mailata return kickoffs and punts MVP, and then he goes on a little rant saying a bunch of guys who he thinks is better than Dak, Jimmy G, Testaverde, Kevin Cobb, Johnny Manziel, Mark Sanchez, Mitch Trubisky, Jay Cutler, all better than Dak. This Mailata is going to come in on red zone situations and steamroll DBs. Mailata is better than Big V because his name is easier to pronounce. Cleveland Browns 16-0.
Wow.
He's going on a rampage here with
Let's go down the
great.
schedule. So we're talking about how many wins are the Eagles going to have. I'm going to ask everybody. I'll keep a tally.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll name the game. If you have it as a win or a loss.
Let's go. Let's do it.
And we'll tally it up, and then we'll get so.
And we didn't do this before the show. This is right on the spot.
I'm doing it right now. I just pulled the schedule up. So Falcons. Okay. Ralph.
You're gonna.
You know, 2 weeks ago I had this as a loss.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's you know.
And I don't blame you.
But I think we have the home field advantage. The banner's dropping. It's going to be wild in that place.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch my loss to a win.
Okay.
But it's not going to be a blowout win like everybody's calling for. I think it's going to be a gritty, tough football game. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah. I agree. I'm almost in the same thing as Ralph. I want logically it says loss, and I had that for so many weeks. I had it as loss, but with all the narratives now, with everyone saying doubting the Eagles and questioning the Eagles and their slow start, I think Doug P is going to coach a master of a game, and I think it's going to be very, very close. I think the defense is going to make the difference here, just like they did in the playoffs. I think the defense, especially the secondary, is going to come out and play a hell of a game. I think we win a close one, but it's going to be a very close one.
I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to say it's a tight game, but I'm going to give us a loss on this one.
Gotcha. I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Listen, I like what
I don't mind it.
I like what Atlanta's done this year. I don't think by losing this game, it's any kind of a sign of anything to like I said, to panic about.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta's done really well. I think they've done a good job at beefing up their wide receiving core.
Well, I mean,
and there's a lot of weapons on that team.
Yeah.
And I think not having Bradham the first game is going to be tough. And I just think there's a lot of question marks at this point.
Yeah.
Though, it'll be very interesting because if the defensive backcourt steps up, and if Sidney Jones, I think, will be a key. If he steps in and has a really big game, I think that could sway the whole turnout of the game.
I just want to know who's playing linebacker Thursday night.
Well, Hicks.
Seriously.
Hicks should be good for one game at least, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hicks and Camu, yeah.
Week 2, I don't even think we need to get into it that deeply. The Bucks, I think we all will probably have that as a win, right?
Yeah, it's a win.
Okay. The Colts, Week 3.
Win.
I think that's a clear win as well.
Yeah, it's a win as well.
Week 4, the Titans.
I have that as a loss.
You have that as a loss. Okay.
Yep. I have
it as a win.
I have it as a win.
I have that as a win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tight game, but I have that as a win.
And the new system that the Titans have,
yeah.
I think they're going to be a much better team than last year. But to begin the season, they're going to go through growing pains in that system.
Well, our run defense is a strength, and I
Yeah.
feel like you're going to have to be able to control Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis.
And I
If
think
you
we
can
will.
control their running game,
And just
I
make
think
Mariota throw it, and
Yeah.
we've all seen Mariota
You're-
can't throw the ball. You
yeah,
know what
I mean, I think if you put pressure on Mariota and make him have to come out of the pocket, and then he can run around a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's decision making, and I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the difference in that game.
Yeah. And their offensive line is banged up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minnesota,
That's a win.
That's a win.
you have that as a win as well.
I have it as a win.
Win. I have that as a win as well. The Giants.
Win. I'm just gonna keep. I'm
This
just gonna
is
say it.
at New York.
I'm just gonna say it just here and now. I think we go undefeated in the division again. So every division game,
I don't
I think we go
do.
undefeated.
I don't think we do. I have this as a loss.
I have this as a loss as well.
I have it as a win.
All right. The Panthers. I have that as a win.
That's a win.
Win.
Man, Charles has us going 16-0.
So far. Well, no. No. We have some tough games. Trust me.
The Jaguars in London.
That's a loss.
Loss.
You think? I
Yeah.
have that as a win.
No, I had that.
Nah,
see, that's.
I had
think
that
that's
a loss.
My only concern is the Jags have been there before and had to do that trip before.
Seems like they've been
Exactly.
there almost every year.
Yeah. I have that concern, but I don't
Loss.
know. I just have a good feeling about that
I have a
game.
loss.
Okay.
Now is Blake Bortles still their quarterback at that point?
That's a good question.
Well, who else do they have? Well, okay.
They
Alright,
could
that's
make
not
it. They could make
Cody
a move.
Kessler. Cody Kessler.
Yeah. Well, by week 8,
He might be better than Blake Bortles at
Yeah.
that point.
Listen, by week 8, there's going to be quarterbacks available.
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah.
make a move.
Definitely.
The Cowboys. I have that
Win.
as a win.
That's a win.
Win. And that's after the bye, guys. So
Yeah.
Yeah. The Saints. I have that as a loss.
That's
Is
a
that
loss.
is that home or?
No, it's away.
That's away.
That's away.
in-
I have it as a loss.
Yeah, I have that as a loss. The Giants. I have that as a
That's
win.
a win.
That
Win.
one's in Philadelphia. I have that one as a win.
Win.
The Redskins. I have that as a win.
That's a win.
Win. Obviously.
It always seems like some years we'll sweep the Giants, but then split with the Redskins, sweep the Redskins, or split with the Giants. It always seems like it's always one or two of them.
The Cowboys.
Win.
It's a win.
Yeah, I have that as a win as well. The Rams. I hate to say this because I'm going to the game, but I have this as a loss in LA.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I had
really
this as a
tough.
loss too. Yeah.
I'm gonna say loss.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say loss.
I hate saying it because I'm going to
Yeah.
go to that game. I hope I'm wrong on that one. The Texans at home.
It's
Win.
week 16, right?
That's
No.
no, that's
Not yet.
15.
Or 15.
I have this as a loss.
Texans at home.
I have this as a loss.
I
Yep.
have this as a win.
If Deshaun Watson's healthy, and I think he's going to have a huge year,
Hey,
I
give me
have
a
it
win.
as a loss.
Give me.
I
a
have
Gotta
I
win.
have the Rams game being a loss. Us coming back home.
Yeah.
I think we win it. So.
Okay. And then the Skins, everybody has that one as a
Win.
win.
Yep.
All right. So it's about what I thought. Without me even looking at the schedule, I had 11 wins in my mind. You have 11 wins. You
Yeah.
have them at 12-4.
Okay. Cool.
So I thought about 11-5 was about what I had in my
Yeah.
head. I do think the Texans game could go either way. So hopefully I'm wrong. Or not the Texans game. I'm sorry. The Rams game. I think they're going to lose to the Texans. I really do.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I have a
I
feeling
could
that
see-
the
I
Texans
mean,
are going to have a really big year this
Deshaun
year.
Watson is. You have a guy like Deshaun Watson, they can win any game. So I don't disagree with
You
it.
have
It's gonna
one of
be
the best
around
young
that, I think.
quarterbacks. He has a lot of He has a lot of options around him.
Yeah.
As far as that offense is going to go, hopefully our defense is going to be healthy at that point as well. That'll
Mhm.
be a big difference maker.
Yeah.
When do you guys think we see Carson?
Shit. Oh, man, I wish I saw him this Thursday.
Yeah.
I really do. But
I think we need him. We need him back
mhm.
by the Minnesota game.
I say
I
week 3.
think he'll be back for the Colts.
Yeah.
I don't think we need him back for the Colts at this point. I think bring him back for the Titans.
When is that?
That's
Week 4.
That's week 4.
That's away.
Yeah, at Tennessee.
I say week 3. By the way, it's on the seat.
I mean, they could bring him back at home.
Yeah.
If
That's
that's
what
the
I'm
option,
thinking.
probably
I'm
week
thinking
3.
Week at home.
Week,
I'd
yeah,
say
week 3 is home against the Colts, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd say week 3.
Because
So-
if you think about it, if we win Thursday night, I mean, there's no cakewalks in the NFL, but
No.
Tampa Bay is just so bad, you know.
Yeah,
And
they're
they don't
not
have
And
good.
good teams are supposed to be bad teams, really bad, you know.
And they don't have
And
have
they
Jameis.
So
won't
we
even
could
have
walk into
Jameis.
week
Jameis
3.
Winston's going to be suspended.
I mean, do you walk into week 3, 2-0, and say, do we really need Carson for week 3? You know what I mean? We're 2-0. If Nicky's playing well, do we ride the hot hand? You know. But
Yeah, but
if Carson's ready to go,
He's
you
gonna
throw
be
him.
ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of riding the hot hand, but if he's playing well,
Mhm.
I don't think you have to bring him back for the Colts game. I think that extra game could be a good thing.
Mhm.
I absolutely think you have to bring him back, even if it's on the road against Tennessee, though, that following week. It's clear this is Carson's team.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a, hey, we're going to keep sticking with Nicky while he's hot.
No, sorry, bud.
You know, no. And I think Nicky knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I just think it's just gonna come down to whenever Wentz is cleared and he is ready to play, he's going to play regardless of, well, the record is this and like Foles looks this.
Mhm.
No, I don't think that matters. I think when Wentz is cleared and he's ready to play, he's going to play.
Yeah,
And
I
think
totally
that's-
agree with that.
I think that's week 3.
Dion says at Tampa is a win. Joe Perillo says you need to burn the McCoy jersey. Michael D'Andrea says Peterson's going to pull out all the stops. Eagles aren't losing at home. Best home record 2 years straight. James Wilder says Dak fucking stinks. Use your damn eyes. Dion says Colt versus the Colts, close win, 3-0. So you think that's a close win against the Colts? I think they're going to blow the Colts out.
Their
Yeah.
defense is still iffy,
Yeah,
man.
their defense.
Yeah,
is
there's
iffy.
and even on the offensive side, we don't know what we're going to get with Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
We
he
talked
hasn't
about,
thrown a ball in 2 years.
well, and we've talked
know?
about his hesitancy to throw the ball beyond 10 yards at this point.
Uh-huh.
He's thrown a lot of short passes, so there's a bit of a concern there. I can't read Frank, so read Frank.
Frank. Oh,
He says,
okay.
"Hey yo."
He said, "Hey yo, sorry to bother you at work. 12-4 record with a visit to the NFC Championship in the Silver Dome. Excuse me, the Silver Dome.
It's a wrestling reference. It's when Hulk Hogan mistaked the Silver Dome
Gotcha.
in the Superdome.
Gotcha.
Is that all it was? My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Dion says, I have the Eagles beating the Saints. Eagles best New Orleans. That was Mike D'Andrea. Dion Rams. I can see us losing that game. Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, yeah.
Dion Texans Eagles win. Matt Curley has 8-8, 9-7 at best.
Of course he does.
Dion says, I say 11-5
How's the
wins the
Raiders?
division and gets a first round bye. And I can't read Michael D'Andrea's next comment.
DeAndre says Eagles defense is going to keep them in every game. As long as the Eagles can score at least 20, should be fine.
I think what we took out of the preseason, at least on the defensive side of the ball, is that I think they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Obviously there's guys
Oh, yeah.
who didn't play a ton, but I think the defensive scheming and everything, they're ready to go. They're ready to play.
Yep.
So, do we want to start going into the divisions and start giving
Let's go.
divisional
Let's
predictions?
Do it. Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
What division you want to start off with?
Well, we started with the Eagles, so let's start off with NFC East.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Since we're already onto the team.
All right.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't checked it yet, just before the show started, my latest article came out, my season predictions. So pretty much I'm going to be reading off of the article, but if you want to read it out, check it out. I did all the divisions, playoff seeding, playoff predictions, awards, everything. They're going to be wrong, as always. I do predictions every year, and they're always wrong. So, but yeah, if you want to read it, check it there. But I will be going over them pretty much here.
all right, so I'll start the NFC East. So I have the Eagles finishing first.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Giants finishing second.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Cowboys at third and the Redskins staring at everybody's ass as usual.
I have the.
I like
same-
the Giants
yeah.
this year in terms of I think the Giants are going to be better than people are giving them credit for.
Mhm.
I think that their offensive line is a question mark, but if they can solidify that, I think they're going to be a threat. I don't think they're going to be a threat to us for the division. I don't think they'll get one, and we'll get into the postseason predictions.
Yeah.
But I think that they can compete down to the wire for a wild card
Mhm.
position.
I'm the same. I have
That's why I have them as the one divisional loss. I think that they're going to be very tough in New York.
Gotcha. I have the same division standings. I have Eagles, then Giants, Cowboys, and Redskins. To be honest, the Giants I think are going to be good. Just like you said, they have weapons. On defense, they have impact players on defense. You talk about Olivier Vernon. You talk about Harrison. You talk about Landon Collins, Janoris Jenkins. I mean, they have impact players on defense. They have on offense. That goes without saying. The weapons they have on offense. The issues with them again are that right side of that line. Like I've said over and over, they solidified the left side, but from center onto the right side, still big question mark.
Yeah, it's the right side of the line. What you're going to get out of Eli is going to be huge, and they have to figure out that right side of the line and make sure that that's solidified, because that's the only chance that they're going to give Eli as far as the passing.
We
game
talk
goes.
about all the time about how Lane Johnson was like a stalwart on our right side. He had no help, and he stonewalled a bunch of pass rushers on that side, including like Von Miller.
Yeah.
Well, now you're talking about Eric Flowers for the Giants is going to be going up against the same type of pass rushers this year. That's a big question mark. So I had them at second. Dallas just squeaked past the Redskins, in my opinion, because I think Dallas's offensive line is the difference. The power running game is going to be really very formidable again. And they have some pieces on defense, especially in the secondary. I like their young secondary. It has potential. The big question is consistent pass rush. They have DeMarcus Lawrence, but beyond him, where are you going to get a consistent pass rush? And then also in the passing game, who is that going to throw to when he has to throw? That's a big question mark to me. They could have the worst tight end group in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I really question their receiving.
Listen, they were
Washington,
so desperate, they took a stab at Brent Selleck.
Yeah, I know. And he said, fuck you guys. So, I mean, in Washington, to me, it came down to Darius Geis. Losing him was huge. Because if they had him with their offensive line, they could establish a power running game and have a good enough passing game where they could be solid. But losing Geis
Was a huge loss.
Huge loss. So
And
I had to have them last.
Geis is a huge loss. I don't see Alex Smith as an upgrade over Kirk Cousins.
I don't either.
And
It's a big downgrade,
and you're
in
talking,
my opinion.
Yeah, and that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're looking at, I mean, you look at the weapons they do have, like a Jordan Reed, always hurt.
Always hurt.
So there's
Can't
just-
walk 5 yards without pulling his hamstring.
Exactly.
You know?
There's so many question marks on this team that it's very difficult to pinpoint where the strengths are on the offensive side of the football.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're going to have to rely on defensive play, and I don't know that I don't believe at all that that's going to be enough for them to get out of the cellar of the NFC East.
Especially when they gave up their best cornerback, Kendall Fuller, for Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge loss for them.
Huge. And he
So-
was the best. He was rated the best slot corner
In
in
the
all
league.
football last year.
Essentially, they
exactly.
robbed Peter to pay Paul, and really, when you're looking to strengthen something, you don't want to make something else a weakness, and that's what they did. That's what we didn't do last year. Was we found ways to continue to strengthen without subtracting or taking away from our team, and
Yep.
then that's there's a lot to be said with that.
Yep.
So,
Ralphie.
what do you got, Ralph, for the
Oh,
NFC?
so I got almost just like yours. I got the Eagles
Nice.
1, Giants 2, Cowboys 3, Redskins 4.
Oh, we're all
Yeah.
in agreement.
wow.
Sweet.
I just
all
think
right.
I just look at the Redskins and it's almost the same thing with the Cowboys. Who does Alex Smith have to throw to?
Yeah.
You know, you paid Paul Richardson that terrible
And-
contract.
Oh, terrible contract.
Jordan Reed's injured
Yeah.
every
Every-
single time he touches the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he crosses the white line, he's injured. You know, it's crazy. And losing Darius Geis was the biggest punch to the mouth for them.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was set to have a really good year for them, and unfortunately,
He was
he's gonna
going.
have to wait
He
another
was
year.
going to be my offensive rookie of the year,
yeah,
to be honest. But losing him, that's over with.
that's a bold statement. All right, let's go to the NFC North.
Let's do it.
We'll let Charles kick this one off.
All
and
right,
we'll just
North.
do that. We'll rotate around. You
All right,
kick
so
this one.
North. This is going to be
This is going to be.
Interesting.
I think this is going to be a tough division.
Yeah.
tough
by the way.
division, and the new addition of Mac throws a new wrinkle to it. But I'm going to stick with what my prediction was before the trade, and that's going to be Vikings 1, Packers 2, Bears 3, Lions 4. The Vikings, I think they're just too good on both sides of the ball, and they upgraded. I think Kirk Cousins is an upgrade, obviously, from Case Keenum, and I think they're going to just be just as good as they were last year. So I can't remove them from the top. The Packers with Aaron Rodgers, anything is possible. It's Aaron Rodgers. I think he was going to have a monster year. He's going to be an MVP MVP candidate again. And I like the Packers, what they did in their secondary by drafting Jairi Alexander, who was my top-rated cornerback. Not Denzel Ward, Jairi Alexander, and then they got Josh Jackson. I think those two, if they can pick it up, and if they can be like a good tandem this year as rookies, that can make a whole difference for that Packers team. They have pieces on defense too. Mike Daniels again, Highland High School alum.
My man.
So they could be good. I just don't think they are on the Vikings level, but they will be there at number 2. Chicago Bears, Khalil Mack. Let me just say this: regardless of how you feel about the trade and the money, you cannot deny that he makes them a much better team now. Like having him and all the things that they did. To me, on paper, they won. They had the best offseason. Surrounding Trubisky with all that talent. And then to me, they added my favorite wide receiver in the draft next to Dante Pettis was Anthony Miller. And I think Anthony Miller has superstar potential. And I think that he's going to start off in the slot and he's going to have a big year. And with Mac there, I'm telling they have some, and Roquan Smith, oh my God, like that defense can be really, really, really good. It's all going to come down to how they all bring it together this year and how Trubisky is going to play. If Trubisky can play really, really well with all these new pieces, they could win that division. But I'm not going to predict it yet because I just don't know. There's too many question marks and unknowns yet for me to go that far. Mm-hmm. But I can't say it's not possible. And then the Lions, I think with Matt Patricia, they are in a step in the right direction, but it's going to take time with that new defensive system. They're transitioning to a new system, and it's just they're not going to be there yet. So I think they're at 4.
Yeah, and Dean Jones says Birds will find the guys to step in until the regulars are back. Next man up. That's the mentality of this team. That's the culture of this team. Ralphie, NFC North, what do you got, buddy?
I got the Packers winning the division.
Okay.
Just because Aaron Rodgers is out for vengeance, and he thinks he got screwed a little bit last year from Anthony Barr.
I'd love to see that.
Vikings 2, Lions 3, Bears 4.
Wow.
And the reason why I have the Bears 4 is the Bears defense is scary good. But in clutch scenarios, can Trubisky do it? And that's my only question mark with Trubisky.
Sure.
Is can he make that jump to the next level this year? And I think having the Lions, having Matt Stafford, somebody that's been there and done that, granted he never won a playoff game. He was the highest paid quarterback at one point. But I think the Lions can jump the Bears and sit at 3. But the Packers, Vikings, Lions, and Bears is what I have for that division.
Okay.
Solid. Okay.
Well, I agree with your top team. I have the Packers because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have an absolutely monster year. He's coming back with a vengeance. I think that team is. I think that team is stacked top to bottom as well. I have Minnesota at 2, and it's tough for me not to pick Minnesota because I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. Yeah. And Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs and Dalvin Cook is back this season. Yeah. And we know how good that defense is. Like you said, both sides of the football, they've only gotten better. So it's tough. It's tough to pick against them, but I respect Aaron Rodgers so much, and I feel like he's such a pivotal piece of that team that he is one of the few people in the league who is a total difference maker.
Yeah.
It is you saw it last year, the difference between a top 1 or 2 seed in a conference to not making the playoffs. Yeah. That's Aaron Rodgers.
He's what Peyton Manning was to the Colts.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the quarterbacks in this league that can work with nothing. Almost like
definitely.
how Tom Brady can work with nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Like, look at Aaron Rodgers. Jordy Nelson was always injured. Randall Cobb was always injured. If those two went down, who was he throwing it to? And he still made it happen.
And now he has Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weapons on that team.
Yep.
I have the Bears at 3.
Okay.
I have the Lions at 4. Pretty much everything you guys said as far as the Bears go. I think that Trubisky's going to make that step next. I'm not talking – I don't know that he's going to take – the giant leap that a guy like a Carson did or a Jared Goff did, but I think that they put a lot of weapons around him, and that defense, like you said, especially with Khalil Mack now, is scary.
It's scary good. Yeah.
And I think that that's going to give the offense plenty of opportunities, especially early in the season, to to work out whatever they need to work out and build a chemistry, and to give this kid as many opportunities as he needs to take that next step. I think he's going to have some struggles, which is why I have them finishing third. It crossed my mind to put him up near second, but I think that I still think they're a year away from really competing with Minnesota and with Green Bay, but I think they're going to make big strides this year.
Yeah.
Now, the Bears only gave up draft picks, correct?
2 first-round
From what I
draft
saw.
picks, yeah.
And they got a second back.
Now,
probably.
in regards to what you said with the Lions, I couldn't agree more. I think the Lions are heading in the right direction. You're right. They have an experienced quarterback. I think they're going to obviously be a more defensive-minded team going forward, and I think it's going to take time for them to transition that.
Yep.
So I think that they finish at the bottom of the division. But I'll be honest, I don't think they're going to be any kind of a pushover by any means.
Oh, yeah.
This division is going to be very tough.
Very tough.
It's arguably the best division in football right now, especially if Trubisky makes that next step.
Hit some comments. We got some good comments.
Yeah.
Curly does say that it's not an easy schedule. Going to get every team's best going to be tougher than you guys think, which is true. It's going to be very tough.
No, there's a couple games. You know, I have them winning 11, but there's a couple of games on both sides. Some of the losses I picked and the wins that I picked that are very tight. I don't think we're going to be going out and blowing people out this year. I think our defense is going to be much more key this year than even so last year, and we know how big the defense was for us.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to have to rely more heavily on our defense this year. And I think that we'll be able to do that. And we'll see what happens when we start getting back our receiving core and Carson steps back in. We'll see what we have there.
Yep.
Go ahead. You have more comments?
Edward Blyler, I'm sorry if I butchered that, says 13 wins. Michael DeAndre says, I hear the Raiders are a dumpster fire. Chucky strikes again. The new Chip Kelly. Dion Brown says, guys, who are the Redskins wide receivers? Anyone to speak of? I could care less about it, but I still like to know. Even with the addition of Khalil Mack, Bears still miss the playoffs at least this season. The Redskins wide receivers, we talked about Paul Richardson, Josh Dodson, Jameson Crowder, pretty much the guys. And then Jordan Reed, who's never healthy.
Nothing to blow you over.
Dean Jones says, Birds will find the guys to step in until... Oh, you read that.
Yeah.
Matt Dukas says 11 wins.
Okay.
A little bit of a dip in the season, but still should perform pretty well. Deion Brown says, I like the kid Carolina drafted from Philly and intended Maryland over the kid from Memphis, although I believe Miller will be a player in the league for years to come. A lot of people do like DJ Moore better than Anthony Miller. I'm about the same. I think they're at the same tier, but I personally like Anthony Miller. I think he has better ball skills and route running than DJ Moore does. But DJ Moore is the other wide receiver in the draft who I believe it has superstar potential. So I don't hate anyone that says they like Moore better. Dean Jones says, while I think Chicago has a pretty good defense this year, Green Bay Packers are question mark on defense that's going to decide their fate. Dan McGuckin says 11-5 is the floor, 14-2 is the ceiling. I'll say 13-3. And then Joseph Roberts says Aaron Rodgers is nothing without Olivia Munn. Well, she is Stumpton. So
She sure as hell is.
Dan McGuckin says 13 tough wins though. Like Chrome said, won't be any blowouts.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Let's move on to the next division. So now we're going to go to the NFC South. We're going to start with Ralphie.
Okay. For one, I got Atlanta.
Okay.
2, New Orleans. 3, Carolina. And 4, Tampa Bay. I think in this division, there's only 2 teams that really stand out to me. I'm sorry, Carolina. Cam Newton's really not that something special. You know, you had that one great year that was 15-1. But I think the only 2 teams that really, stand out to me is New Orleans and Atlanta. I think those 2 are going to be fighting for the division most of the year. And I just have Atlanta coming out with the division.
There you go.
I struggled with this one. A lot of the reasons that you said. And a big part of me says that the Falcons are going to win this division. But, again, it's one of those – something about Sean Payton and Drew Brees that I just have such a hard time picking
It's a magical
them.
connection.
It really is. And I believe that this is going to be a dogfight of a division between those top 2 teams. I think that the Saints are going to squeak it out. I mean, I absolutely think the Falcons are still making the playoffs easily.
Yeah.
But I think that the Saints are going to just squeak out the division. And then I had the Panthers third, the Buccaneers last. I don't even need to get into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah.
We'll just move on. Go over to Chuck's here.
Falcons 1, Saints 2, Panthers 3, Bucks 4. So same thing as you, Ralphie. It's such a toss-up between Falcons and Saints. But I went with Falcons because I think with them finishing second in the division last year, their schedule is going to be a little bit easier, and they'll win by tiebreaker over the Saints. But the Saints, like the Falcons, I really do think are a great team. They're going to be a great team, but a lot of their success rides on Steve Sarkisian. If he can stop being a dummy when it comes to play calling, they can go far. They could win the Super Bowl. But if he hasn't improved anything, they're gonna be one and done again. The Saints, to me, are the scarier team matchup-wise, especially for the Eagles, because they have pieces that match up well against the Eagles. And I've said that since last year. Their offensive line is a top 3 offensive line. They're massive. And again, Kamara is Alvin Kamara. He's great. But tough schedule. And I think that losing Ingram for the first 4 games, like you said earlier,
It's going to be tough.
it's going to be tough. I mean, I do believe in Kamara, but again, Ingram is still such an integral part of that offense. Losing a piece like that is still going to be tough.
I could be talked off of the Saints, by the way, very easily. I think if they had Ingram, I would feel much more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It's just something about Drew Brees. They always figure it out. And I just can't, for whatever reason, I couldn't bring myself to pick against them.
No, I hear you.
Well, I think it was the first 2 games of the season last year, they looked terrible.
They lost, yeah.
They
lost
looked very,
bad.
very bad.
Got blown out by the Vikings.
But the switch flipped, though.
Yeah.
When it flipped, it really
Yeah.
flipped. Dean Jones, he said, I took Jimmy Graham as my tight end in fantasy. What do you guys think?
I
think as far as Jimmy Graham goes, he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football this year. I think it's a great. I think it depending on where you picked him. I think it's a great pickup. I think you have nothing to worry about. He's probably one of the top 2nd-tier tight ends. So I think it's a good pick.
And Rodgers loves his tight ends.
Yeah, I mean
Loves
Aaron Rodgers always has been known to lean on his tight ends a lot. So I think you're going to be perfectly fine.
A lot of touchdowns. I predict a lot of touchdowns for
Dean Jones says the Birds will beat Atlanta. Defense, book it. We always talk about Tom Brady's ego. What about New Orleans Saints' Drew Brees Brees. What about Drew Brees' age? He's another guy, though. He seems to just keep going. You know, I don't.
The thing is,
I don't put a whole lot on the whole age thing. Now, when you talk about getting towards your mid-40s, we're having a different conversation because it's only a matter of time that it's gonna happen.
I think
decline's gonna happen.
The thing is they don't need Brees to carry them like years before, because last year people forget he only had 20 touchdowns, guys. They transitioned from a run-based offense to a run-based offense that uses the pass as a complementary part of the game. So if Brees can just be the same guy as it was last year, they're still scary.
Yeah, I mean, they've put more around him so that they can, like you said, not rely as heavily on him, but he's still Drew Brees. So when the moment comes and you need him to lead the offense down the field, there's not many in the game that are better than Drew Brees, and he still performs at a high level in those situations.
Exactly.
Well, look at the Viking games, the last year in the NFC divisional game.
Yeah.
If Marcus Williams doesn't miss that tackle,
it's a win.
Yeah, they win that game, and that's a comeback win too.
Exactly. They didn't lose that game because of Drew Brees.
Dean says, "Dude, you're not very old. I'm 56. Trust me, it'll catch up to you." Let's move on. Right? Are we moving on to the next one?
Sorry, Panthers, but no.
Yeah.
All right. NFC West. So I have the Rams, 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks finishing last.
Okay.
I think the Rams, to me, and I love the 49ers, and I think that the 49ers are going to be a formidable foe in this division. But I don't think they're quite there on the Rams level yet. I think the Rams are going to be elite this year. They're going to be very, very difficult to beat in that division. So I have the Rams at 1, 49ers, Jimmy GQ. I think he continues to develop by leaps and bounds. I like what they've done this year. The Cardinals, I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling that they're going to play well, and I think David Johnson's going to come back with a vengeance this year.
Oh, yeah.
And more so, I picked them above the Seahawks. I think this is going to be a real come-down-to-earth year for the Seahawks. They have gotten rid of everybody pretty much, aside from Russell Wilson. I think that there's going to be a lot of young guys and a lot of unknowns on that team, and I just don't think Russell Wilson can carry this team to – I think I'm looking at a 6-win team. That's what I'm looking
Wouldn't
at.
be a surprise, yeah.
So, I mean, that's part of contributing why I have the Cardinals above them. I think the Cardinals are going to squeak out a little bit more. Even if they did pay $30 million to their quarterbacks. There's enough there.
Exactly.
And the old man, Larry Fitz, he continues to get out there and do it. So.
I have Rams 1, Niners 2, Seahawks 3, Cardinals 4. Rams, we can't say too much about them. I just think they're on another level than anyone else in the division again, and they'll win again. The Niners, though, people want to. There are some people that want to pump the brakes on their hype train, but Chrome, you can attest to this. I've been leading that hype train since early last year. Ever since they hired Kyle Shanahan.
Racist.
They hired Kyle Shanahan. I was like, this team is going to be good. And them getting Jimmy G through trade last year was just the next big key.
You know, on this show, we love us some Jimmy G.
We love us Jimmy G.
Jimmy GQ.
And I'm telling you, some young players on their team have real potential. Talking about Dante Pettis, Marquise Goodwin, George Kittle, Mike McGlinchey, Reuben Foster, DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, Fred Warner, Akello Witherspoon, and Jaquiski Tart, who is the best name in the league, by the way.
Jaquiski Tart.
They are young, good. They are good young pieces. I think they're going to hover around the 500 mark. They could be around 9-7. They're still a year or two away from being real contenders, but that 5-game win streak was no fluke. They are going to be very, very good. I think it's just a matter of them growing still and coming together. I totally hear what you're saying about the Seahawks and Cardinals, and me picking the Seahawks over the Cardinals is not me saying that the Seahawks are going to be good. To me, it just came to the fact that I think Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback who will will his team to win some games. So I think it's just the Russell Wilson factor. My fandom of Russell Wilson, I couldn't put them last, so I put them third. But I do think they are going to be in a rebuilding period. And then the Cardinals, their O-line is horrible. If they're going to get Sam Bradford hurt, which is again no hard task to do. But even with Josh Rosen there, he has good pocket mobility, but he's not a runner or scrambler. He's not going to be able to make plays outside the pocket when that pocket collapses on him. They have no center. Their center got hurt. They have no one. So it doesn't matter who they have at quarterback there. They're not going to be able to do much. But yeah, I think they're going to be growing.
Just check Facebook on that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I got the Rams 1,
Okay.
49ers 2, Seattle 3, and Arizona 4.
Okay.
I think, to be completely honest, just like how the NFC South was, I think the NFC West could come down to two teams, and the Rams and the 49ers as well. But the one question mark I have for the Rams is that's a lot of personalities in that locker room. A lot of personalities. You have Marcus Peters, who's a big personality. Talib, who's a big personality. Shoe's a big personality. It almost has like the feel of like what we had years ago with the Dream Team. You know, all the big personalities in the locker room, and we saw how that went. So that's just my only question mark with the Rams. But beside that, I think the Rams can come on top with this division.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Ralphie, do me a favor, check Facebook.
Yeah.
Let me see. I already put them out. So, yeah. So do we want to save playoff predictions, or do we want to dive into the AFC now?
We got to go one ways. We can start the AFC, or we could do the NFC playoff seeding for now, since we only have like a few minutes.
Yeah.
You want
we
to do
could
that?
say- yeah. I didn't seed much.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of looking at who I'm looking at the playoff teams being.
Okay.
I did do first round buys. So for me, I have the first round buy in the NFC being the Eagles and the Packers.
The first round is the 1 and 2.
First round buys. I have the wild cards being the Vikings and the Falcons.
Okay.
And obviously for the other teams are the Rams and the Saints.
Rams and Saints. Okay. Okay.
So coming out of that, I then have the conference championship. Well, I didn't even pick the winners after. I just went right to the conference championship. In the end, for me, the conference championship is going to be the Eagles and Packers in Green Bay.
Okay. So I have, for my playoff seeding, I have the Vikings 1. I have the Eagles 2. I have the Falcons 3, Rams 4, Packers the 5th seed, which is the first wild card, and then the Saints the 6th seed as the second wild card. I have as my playoff for NFC playoffs, I have the Falcons beating the Saints in the wild card round, and then the Packers beating the Rams, and then I have the Eagles beating the Falcons again in the NFC divisional round, and then the Packers beating the Vikings as an upset in Minnesota. And then for the NFC Championship game, that means we had the same two teams, but I have it in Philly. I have Eagles and the Packers with the Eagles coming out on top against the Packers.
See, I didn't put my Super Bowl prediction out yet.
Okay.
I'm saving that one.
But those, yeah, that's.
But I do
NFC.
have the conference championship game being the Eagles and the Packers in Green Bay.
Gotcha.
So I believe I think that the Eagles will be the 2 seed in the NFC. And I think that the Packers are probably going to win 12 or 13 games this year. I really feel confident in the Packers this year.
I don't disagree. Ralphie, do you have playoff predictions?
For the NFC?
For NFC, yeah. Playoff
Okay,
seeding or whatever,
Let
yeah.
me bring that up real quick. Well, I have the Eagles making it. I had the Giants grabbing a wild card.
Okay.
Packers and the Packers win their division.
Okay.
The Falcons win the division.
Okay.
So that would leave. So the Giants win the wild card, right?
So that's one wild card. You got one wild card.
Well, and one more wild card.
Yep.
Obviously the Rams.
Yeah.
Rams would be the wild card.
Okay. Cool.
So who do you have getting the first round bye? What 2 teams?
The Eagles, obviously.
The Eagles, and who else do you have?
I would say Eagles and Packers.
Okay.
Eagles and
So
Packers.
Same as me.
2 as you.
Who do you have going to the conference championship game?
Conference championship
So you could skip the
games.
second round. Don't worry about giving us that.
Yeah. So it'd be NFC
Out of
championship
all those
games.
6
NFC,
teams,
yeah.
what's your NFC championship game? So I know you were fiddling around.
Eagles Rams.
Eagles
I
Rams.
have
Eagles Rams. Okay.
Is it in Philadelphia or in LA?
Yeah.
And clearly, because he
Yeah.
has the Rams as a wild card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
So we got to keep note of all this.
Yeah.
So that we can tug on Ralphie's beard when he's wrong.
Any more?
So we're gonna do NFC, or we're gonna do the AFC on the other side.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of quick minutes here. What do we want to talk about here, buddy? Do we want to talk about Doug Peterson getting pissed off the other day at his press conference?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
I loved it. Some people were like, "Go, calm down," but I loved it. You could tell he was pissed off because something got leaked that wasn't supposed to.
Don't you want to see a little fire from your head
Yeah,
coach
and you
like
want to
that?
see him
Yeah.
angry.
Like Dougie P always comes off as like the nicest guy.
I
and
would
he
be pissed
is.
off too.
Yeah.
I would be really pissed
If something like got
Yeah.
leaked that wasn't supposed to, I
off.
would
Thanks,
get mad
Ian
too.
Rappaport.
You stupid Ian Rappaport.
That's Chuck's boy.
Oh yeah, sure.
He loves himself some Ian Rappaport.
There are a bunch of guys I love in the media. But
How-
yeah,
how are
I
we-
loved it.
Are we back up on Facebook or no?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
At this point, that's all right. We'll try to get that. We'll try to get the Facebook fam over on the other side in the comment section.
Okay.
Damn you, Charles, for stepping on my
Sorry
head.
again.
But
You want to cut the break or?
yeah. Why don't we take our break? We'll go a couple minutes early now. since we don't really have to worry about the Facebook.
The Facebook ending.
Yeah, at this point.
Sorry again for technical difficulties.
But listen, if you joined us on Facebook, if you joined us on Periscope, Instagram, guys, we appreciate it. Please go to YouTube, search A2D Radio. You'll see the logo. Subscribe, like the videos, all of our content that you see here, like on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, or the Facebook, Periscope, and Instagram. I'm getting used to Instagram. I'm like, I know there's 3. You get the full show on the other side. So please join us. We're going to continue to talk playoff season and playoff predictions. We're going to go through individual awards that we want to talk about. We're going to do no huddle. We're going to talk about anything you guys want to talk about because the fam, you guys are what drives us. First half of the show brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountants. Make them yours, GibsonMayer.com. Always appreciate them. Always appreciate Scanzano Sports with the poll question. How many games do you guys think the Eagles are going to win this year? We'll continue to talk that on the other side. So, make the jump. We'll talk to you there. For Chrome, Ralphie, and Chuck's over here. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Guys, we're back from the Real Talk Studios. You got Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, exclusively on YouTube for the second half of the show. Second half of the show brought to you by StreamSmart, streamsmart.com. Our Scanzano Sports Poll question again. How many games do you believe the Eagles will win in 2018? 16, undefeated. 13, 10, 7 or less, another number. I went with 11. I think Ralphie over here, who's on the ones and twos for us tonight, he went 11. Chuck's went 12. Apologize for the long break. We thought Chuck's over here was going to pass out.
Had to get some sustenance.
Yeah. He was feeling a little faint there, so he had to run real quick to the corner and go grab some food from 7-Eleven. So we do apologize for the break, but, we thought that would be better than having EMS interrupt our show there. So thank you guys if you stuck with us. We appreciate that. And we're ready to talk more football. We went through the NFC. Again, just to recap, I think that we'll just go with what we had for the conference finals or conference championship. I had Eagles-Packers in Green Bay. We didn't pick our winners yet. Charles had
Eagles, Packers, and Philly.
In Philly and
Eagles, Rams in Philly.
In Philly. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to start going through the NFC.
AFC.
Or AFC, Jesus Christ. Maybe I'm fainting, guys. Maybe I'm going to be the one passing out over here. But yeah, so we're going to go into the AFC. We're going to start with the AFC East. I'll kick it off.
Garbage of a division.
Yeah, this is a pretty terrible division. I'll be honest. Obviously, Patriots number one. And really, for me, I told Charles this was like one of the hardest ones to pick because it was trying like it's like I always use the quote like
We're starting with the Patriots division, right?
yeah
Okay.
Yeah, the Patriots division.
yeah the Patriots
It's not called the AFC
No.
East. It's
No.
called the Patriots
it's called
division.
the Patriots division. Like for all intents and purposes, and I always use this analogy, but I think it really holds true here. It's like when you're trying to pick the other three.
Yeah.
It's like standing around like three dog turds on the ground and arguing which one smells worse.
Yeah.
They're shit. It's turds. They stink. It doesn't matter which one stinks worse. But I went Jets, Bills, Dolphins.
I don't know why you keep on copying off of me. I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we know the Bills are right now are a dumpster fire. I'd
Yeah.
like to see the Dolphins because it's noted that the Dolphins are my AFC team. I would like to see them not finish in the bottom, but I feel like at this point we don't know what Tannehill is going to be. And they've had a lot of losses. They have Frank Gore's on this team now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Former Philadelphia Eagle
For 2 days.
Frank Gore
For 2 minutes, I should
for
say.
2 seconds from a handshake agreement.
Yeah.
And I just I really don't know what to make of the division. To me, the Jets at least have a more clear vision than the rest of the division outside of the Patriots, which is why I put them at 2. We'll see. Just roll the dice.
Yeah.
But that's my AFC East.
Gotcha. All right.
That's
so
my Patriots East.
the Patriots East. So after the Patriots, obviously, I have the Dolphins, Jets, then Bills. I mean, between the Dolphins, Jets, sure. Like I don't know. Like I could see them flip flopping. I think it'll be between them two for the second and third spot. I think the Jets. I think are they're going in the right direction. They just don't have the pieces yet, in terms of to be a competitive team. They don't have enough talent yet. For the Dolphins, I do like Kenyon Drake, but their offensive line again is somewhat of a question mark, and I'd say somewhat loosely. And then the Bills, I think I said it earlier. I might have not, but the Bills could have the worst record in the league. That's what I feel like they really could be the worst team in the league. Looking at that roster, it's really not good. Don't even get me started on fat Kelvin Benjamin. And so, I mean, like, they're just – I don't see how they get more than 4 wins at the most. So, yeah.
I have the Pats 1, as always. The Jets 2nd, Bills 3rd, and the Dolphins 4th.
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I could see I could see the
It's the
Dolphins
Pats,
finishing
and then
second
it's
in
just
the
every-
division.
It's just everyone else after the
Yeah.
Jets.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins finished second in the division because over the last couple of years, it looked like the Dolphins had put the right pieces in place to at least contend and give a somewhat of a challenge
And they always
to the
beat
Patriots.
They always beat the Patriots.
They beat the Patriots, but they don't win the games they should to actually compete for the division with the Patriots. So the year where you expect nothing from them would probably be like when they signed Chad Pennington and they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to be that kind of year. We'll see. AFC North. Charles, we'll let you kick off your
All
AFC
right.
North predictions.
So, this was actually a lot tougher than I expected because of the top 2 teams who I have. But I went with Old Faithful. I went with the Steelers in the end to win the division. I just think, again, too much talent. I can't. Big Ben actually looks slimmer now. He actually got into better shape, and he's moving around the pocket better. He has more jump in the steps, so I think that's going to help him. Le'Veon Bell last season on his contract and last season with the Steelers, I believe him when he says he's going to have a monster year. So I mean, when has he not disappointed? So I think he's going to have
when he made a lot of poor decisions.
Well, I meant like in terms of production on the field.
Right.
But I think Bell is just going to be Bell. Antonio's going to be Antonio. Juju's going to juju all over the field. And they're going to just finish with the top record. The Ravens have been very impressive to me over the course of the preseason. And I put them at 2. That defense is going to be good. Flacco has impressed me because it's like they get quarterback competition behind him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, all right, I'll wake up. So in the preseason, again, like it's preseason, but he's looked better. He's thrown the ball better. He looks more spry in his step. And I like the pieces they have. Again, they revamped their wide receiver group. John Brown, if he can stay healthy and that sickle cell trait thing is kind of behind him and he can stay healthy and all that, he's a big weapon. Don't forget how good of a deep threat he is, and Flacco loves that deep ball. So I think that they finish second. I have the Browns at third over the Bengals because I kind of like the Browns' potential. And there's someone on their squad who I have as winning one of the major awards, which we'll get to later. But I think they're going to be actually around, I'd say like 6-7 wins. And then I have the Bengals last. And I will say that even though they did retool their offensive line and they have some pieces like Joe Mixon, John Ross, A.J. Green, obviously, I just don't like Marvin Lewis. And the fact that he's still there, it really pisses me off. So I picked them last. It really just comes down to my disdain for Marvin Lewis.
All right, so I got the easy one. I got to go what Chucks was saying. The easiest one to go to is Pittsburgh is number one. Until somebody can at least compete with them in that division from here on out. I got Pittsburgh 1. I got the Browns 2.
Woo!
Okay,
I like it.
The Browns, don't be sleeping on them Cleveland Browns now.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
I like
Just
it.
saying.
Okay, because
Give it to me.
they finally have potential now. They finally gave their quarterbacks what their quarterbacks needed, and that's weapons to throw to. Finally, their defense is somewhat good. I like Denzel Wood at number 4, but I rather would have went them to go Bradley Chubb at 4 too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But I have the Ravens 3, and the Bengals are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, in my opinion. I have them at 4.
Marvin Lewis.
He's so bad. How do you go out and win 7 in the playoffs and still have a job? He either has something on the owner or he's blackmailing somebody. Something.
I don't
It's
get
crazy.
It either. I don't get
It's
it
crazy.
Either.
I'm with you. Steelers number 1. I think they're a clear favorite in the division. I got the Browns at 2.
Yeah.
I think Baker's going to have a good year. I love the wide receiving core. I love the addition of Jarvis Landry, Josh Brown coming back, Antonio Callaway. I really think that there's a lot of weapons around Baker. I like the depth on the running back core. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, and I'm a Nick Chubb guy. I think Nick Chubb, I know a little spotty as far as preseason goes.
He's a rookie.
But he's exactly. He's a rookie. I think that as the season goes on, he's going to be put in situations that he's going to continue to develop. I think he could be the running back of the future for that organization. And if an injury happens, I think that he'll be able to step in, and I think that as the season goes on, he'll be fine. I have Baltimore at 3. I'm just not a believer in Joe Flacco.
That's
sorry.
perfectly fine. I get it. I get it.
You know, just as much as I put stock into it, but not a ton of stock in the preseason. I got to see it. I got to see it week in and week out with Joe Flacco and with Baltimore. You know, they'll have a good defense. They always have a good defense. And I agree with you. I think the best thing for Joe Flacco was for them to light a fire under his ass and have somebody breathing down his neck to take that job. Because I don't think his job is safe by any means. So I have them, and then clearly the Bengals are the absolute trash of that division.
Good. We all agree on that.
I didn't think there was any question with that. And as easy of a pick as the Steelers are to win that division, I found it easier to pick the Bengals to be last.
Yeah, it is.
That's how bad I think the Bengals are.
I just don't get Marvin Lewis, the whole situation. It just
no one does.
blows my mind.
Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy,
Yeah.
but he can't win in the playoffs.
Can't
Sorry.
Jeez.
Not even one.
Yeah.
And who's his quarterbacks he's had in the playoffs? He had Andy
Was he
Dalton.
Carson Palmer.
Yeah,
Carson Palmer,
right? Yep.
Andy Dalton. Is there any other quarterbacks? He's had decent quarterbacks.
Yeah, he had decent. Well,
to lead
the
the
one
team.
year, what was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? They were winning, and the defense is the one that lost them the game because they kept on getting penalty after penalty after penalty in the fourth.
And I think Andy Dalton also was hurt. That was the year
And that was A.J. McCarron stepped in.
A.J. McCarron.
And he balled out that game, and the defense kept on getting penalty after penalty and lost them the game. Yep.
in true Marvin Lewis fashion.
Yep.
AFC South, guys. We're gonna kick it off with Ralphie over here.
Okay.
What do you got for
Get
the
it,
AFC
Ralphie.
South?
I got Jacksonville #1. I
Okay.
think they're the best all-around team. The one question mark is Blake Bortles. Blake
One.
Bortles is the only question mark I have for this team.
Okay.
And it's a huge one.
I have the Texans 2, Tennessee 3, and Indianapolis 4th. The only reason why I have Indianapolis 4th is because of Andrew Luck. He hasn't thrown a football in 2 years. Hasn't been played a regular season game in almost 2 years as well. And that's just my big question mark with Andrew Luck is for the Colts as well. And that defense isn't where it was Peyton Manning era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even when he last played.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, and I think I actually have the same. I have Jacksonville at 1. I totally agree, though. I mean, I think top to bottom the roster is stacked.
Yeah. It's just
Blake Bortles is a huge question mark.
Yeah, it is.
And it's so ironic that they've built such a solid team because it's so hard to build a team in this league
Yeah.
without building it around the quarterback.
Yeah. And
And
found
they've
a way
built
to
it
do it.
despite the quarterback.
Yeah.
But in fairness to him, he's won
Mm-hmm.
with this team constructed as it is. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's a detriment, but I don't think he's as big of a detriment as Charles thinks he is. That being said, I'm not convinced that will be his job by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes out and he struggles, they'll make a move for a quarterback that's
Oh, I
available.
hope so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
Oh, my God.
I have the Texans at 2. I think, again, we've talked about it. Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to ball out this year and have a great year. And I really like their defense a lot. Tennessee, I think this is actually going to be a very competitive division between those 3 teams. I think the addition of Deion Lewis with Derrick Henry is going to give them a really formidable running back core that's going to create opportunities for Mariota to throw the football. But I think they're going to come just short. And obviously the Colts, for a lot of what you said there, we don't know really what Andrew Luck is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that there's a hesitation right now to kind of let it fly and just really kind of let it all out. And he'll get there.
Yeah.
I believe that he'll get there.
Yeah.
But I think he is a little bit gun-shy with his decision-making right now. And, again, not even just with the defense not being as strong. He doesn't have as many weapons as he had the last time. That
I mean,
he
only has T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y.
That's it.
Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So
That's
I
it.
think here we
There
go.
he is.
Hey, big
Wonderful.
Greggy.
What's up, Greggy Poo?
Greggy Poo.
Greg Malakovic from what shows are you on? AM?
bunch
You
of
do
them.
AM and the PM sometimes. AM and the PM. You will be on tomorrow night. Greg will be on AM and the PM tomorrow night. He's also on Agree to Disagree sometimes whenever he decides to show up to work.
Sometimes.
But, yeah, that's Greg. Thanks for the walk by, Greg. But, no, that's where I'm at as far as the Colts go. So I don't think that the Bortles thing's going to be as big of a deal. I'm not saying it's not a big deal.
I hear you.
But he has the benefit of the doubt that they've won and been a playoff team with him as the quarterback.
When you word it that way, yes. I have the same standings as you guys: Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee, Indy. So we're all in agreement on this division. The Jaguars, just like you guys said, they could have the best team in the league, top to bottom, the best overall roster.
Tom Coughlin went in there and really
Ooh,
changed.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
revamped them.
You know,
Yeah,
I
really
so
did.
well.
I know before we hired Doug, I really wanted him to get a strong consideration as the head coach here. But I think at this point in his life, it's very clear that is such a good fit for him as far as being a front office guy and and building.
Yeah.
And I think that he has done a phenomenal job with Jacksonville.
And the talks were all last year too. Was if Blake Bortles can't make this jump, Eli, if the Giants don't want Eli, is Eli going to be a Jaguar? And that was the talks all year because the Eli and Tom Coughlin connection as well. But we'll see what happens with
And
Blake.
listen,
That's the only question mark.
If for some reason the Giants fade a little bit, I wouldn't put that out of the question that if Bortles isn't playing up to par, that they would go out and still
the
try to
trigger.
pull a trigger on a deal for Eli.
I would be surprised with Gettleman, though, to be able to pull that trigger. I don't think Gettleman would do it. But we shall see. But again, I think everyone knows my opinions on Blake Bortles. I think he's the worst quarterback in the league, starting-wise. I actually think there are backups that are better than him. I think he severely hinders them. and and limits what they can do. The fact that they went that far last year with him speaks to how talented they
I
are.
actually think an Alex Smith would have been really good in
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good landing
Oh,
spot
yeah.
for him. I told you last year, if Kirk Cousins would have gone there, good Lord, I would be scared of them.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
I'm the
they'd
Patriots,
have
the
to be.
Eagles, the Rams,
Yeah, they'd have
I
to
would
be.
be absolutely
They just
scared
need
of
that
team.
quarterback that can win them games when it comes down to critical times. Man.
Because that's what their team is. They pride themselves on
Right.
defense. They believe in a knockdown, drag it out type of game where they don't mind going blow for blow on defense and just having it come down to the wire. So you need a quarterback who can make those critical throws in critical times. The thing is, that's not Bortles.
No.
Yeah.
That's not Bortles. And like I told you before, what did that loss to the Patriots come down to? The fact that they were so conservative. But why were they conservative? Because Bortles makes them conservative.
No,
So-
and as far as the available quarterbacks that were out there for them, if they were to do a shot, I said Kirk Cousins would have been a guy that would have scared me if he was with them, and I know the argument to really what you said, and you talked about having that guy who can get out there and get into those battles and make those big throws, and Cousins doesn't have the track record for that, but I also think that's a big part is being in Washington and in the situation he was in, which is why I think he's going to thrive so much now with Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Now, we know that contract is crazy
Yeah.
that he got, but I think he's going to earn a lot of it. It's tough to earn all that money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I think that he's going to be a very valuable asset to them.
He
and
would
I
have been
think he would have been unbelievable with Jacksonville.
unbelievable. That word is exactly what unbelievable. Because what did Jalen Ramsey say about Kirk Cousins that I said is actually 100% accurate? Kirk Cousins is either one of or the best play action thrower in the league. Well, what does their offense play off of? Play action.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had a quarterback who is a master at reading defenses post snap very quickly and off of play action, who can make every throw. Bortles can make throws off of play action if they're short to intermediate levels. Kirk Cousins can chuck it deep if it's off play action.
Yeah.
He can make every single throw off that type of system. So that would have been scary, but he's not there. The Texans again at 2. Deshaun Watson is going to be great. Tennessee Titans. I feel like some people are kind of disrespecting them. I like the
I think
Titans.
some people are sleeping on him.
Are sleeping on them. LaFleur, again, I will remind everyone, Matt LaFleur comes from the same tree as the Shanahan tree. Okay, so you talk about Kyle Shanahan's offense and how they use the running backs and everything. That's the same type of offense you're getting from LaFleur. So that's why they have Derrick Henry and Lewis, who are going to be a great running back duo. I think it's just they're a year away. They need to grow in that system. Mariota has to develop as a passer in that system. They need a little bit more pieces on offense. Corey Davis is going to be big, but I think, again, he needs to grow still. They're just a year away. And then that offensive line, if they had been able to stay healthier and had been better, they could restock their interior of their offensive line, they'd be scary. I'd put them up there with Jacksonville, but they're not there yet. And then Indy I agree with you with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, and just to kind of cap this off on this division, it's pretty clear. I think this year Tennessee and Jacksonville are probably the clear favorites. But I think looking at I said Tennessee, right?
You said Tennessee.
I'm sorry. I meant the Texans.
Gotcha.
But going forward, like you talked about, a year away, I think next year will be very telling with this division. To see the progression of Tennessee and how they get together, and also, like you said, Corey Davis, to see his development, and also to see what Andrew Luck is. Because if Andrew Luck can return to form, this could be the best division in football next year, without question.
Yeah.
To go back on what you were saying about the AFC South, this used to just be the Colts division, almost like how the Pats are in their division.
Sure.
It just used to be the Colts and then whoever else.
Yep.
For a very long time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
AFC West, I'll kick this one off here.
Let's go.
I got Chargers number 1, Chiefs 2, Broncos 3, Raiders finishing in the cellar of this division. And I think the Raiders at this point are now just kind of using this year to implement a culture and to kind of, see where they're at and build on it. And then clearly by moving Khalil Mack, that's the vision. But I think that this is the year for Phillip Rivers. I think that they are going to take that next step from what we saw from last year. I've always been a Phillip Rivers supporter. I think he's one of the most underrated and underappreciated quarterbacks in this league. I don't think he's always had the team around him. I think missing Hunter Henry is going to be big for them this year.
Yeah, that's a tough loss.
That's a tough loss.
But they got Gates.
There's such a
50-year-old Antonio Gates, baby.
hey, just
Who can run faster real quick? Who can run faster real quick? Gates or Gore?
Oh, God.
It's a close one. It's a close one.
But listen, I like this team. And you know what? I really feel like if there's a team in this division or a guy and a player in this division that deserves to have a really big year, I think it's going to be Phillip Rivers this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the weapons that they have. I love their draft. I really feel really good about them. Chiefs, they're always there. I think Pat Mahomes is going to have a good year this year. I thought about putting the Broncos above them just because I really, really love the dynamic of Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Like, I think their defense is going to win them a lot of football games, and they always run the football really well. But their quarterback situation is what it is with Case Keenum. I will say I think Keenum is going to have a better year than people think he's going to have. I'm not saying by any means anything great, but I think that he will get the job done, that they'll compete and keep them in games.
Better than what they had last year.
Yeah.
Anything they had last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with that. Okay, so I got Chargers 1,
Okay.
Chiefs 2, Raiders 3,
Wow.
Broncos 4.
Okay.
So the Chargers, I agree with everything.
You think Chucky's going to get him up to the 3?
That's the thing. All right, so yeah, I think I think there's enough talent there, and I'll get into why. But I
Well,
think
if
with
they
the
can-
Chargers,
If they can stay out of
if
prison.
they can stay up. The Chargers, I have them having a huge year.
Me too.
Again, like
I have the Chargers winning 13 games this year.
guys, look at their roster. Their roster, even with the loss of Hunter Henry and Jason Verrett, their roster is stacked too. They have on both sides of the ball so many pieces. Bosa's gonna have a great year. Melvin Ingram, you got who's the guy why does his name just escape me? The safety they drafted that fell to them.
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, why is the name
I know
escaping
who
me?
you're talking about.
YouTube, if you can remember, sorry, put it in the comments. But that's a huge addition. We're their corners again. So their roster's so stacked. The receiving core, if Mike Williams becomes really good, talking about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Tyrell Williams, who's no slouch, and then Travis Benjamin, the speedster Travis Benjamin. That's oh my gosh. And then Melvin Gordon again, a very good running back. I have them having a good year. The Chiefs are going to be, to me, a very entertaining team, high-scoring team, but their defense is a big question mark. I think the Chiefs could end up with the best offense in the league because Mahomes is a slinger, man. He chucks it, and he can throw. And then you have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and then Kareem Hunt. They're going to be attacking downfield left and right. I like that offense. I don't like that defense.
It's Derwin James.
Derwin James. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, he could be defensive rookie of the year candidate. The Raiders, this is why I have them at 3. Because I believe in a bounce-back season for Carr and Cooper. That's what it comes down to.
Okay.
That's the difference maker between them and the seller. I think they're going to bounce back and I think they're going to carry games.
And I don't think it's just that. I think Marshawn Lynch is going to have a good year. I
He'll
think he's going to
have
have a better year than he did
than last year. Yeah.
When he got his legs under him last year,
He ran well.
He ran the football a lot better. He wasn't old Marshawn.
Yeah.
But there was definitely flashes there, and he was a lot more effective running the football.
And don't forget that their offensive line is beastly too.
Yep.
They have a beast of an offensive line. So I think they have enough talent to be third in the division, regardless of what Gruden will say. And okay, even if Gruden isn't anything great, there's still a lot of unknown to him that teams are going to be unsure how to game plan for him right out the gate. So it's going to take a little while to get some real tape on him and how his system is now. So that's why I think they'll be third. Fourth, the the Broncos, I think their quarterback play, like you said, will be better than last year. But their defense, even with Bradley Chubb, I think is going to be a step down. I don't think they're going to be the same defense. Chubb is going to take a little while to adjust, but I do like that the potential in the future. But this year, I just don't see it.
So I got the Chargers 1, same as you guys. Chiefs 2, Raiders 3, Broncos 4.
Sweet.
Stupid, Ralph.
Agreed with me.
So before we get our playoff predictions in here,
Comments?
I'm going to run down some
Yeah,
comments
let's go.
here on the tube. Let me just get back to where we left off here, where we came back. Dick Cheese McGee put a lot of
You did.
people better than Dak.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I'm like all the way back.
So ASMR.
Yeah,
here,
good.
also-
You catch up. where we're at.
ASMR says Bills 2-14.
It's very possible.
Yeah. Nitro Freak says Pittsburgh is going to be ass. Their defense is atrocious, and the Browns will be 2-14. Ralphie.
Oh, I disagree.
I
with that.
disagree.
The Browns will
You're
be 2 and
neglecting-
14. Oh my God!
They
They finally have talent on their team. Like people don't understand that. Like they finally have a rookie quarterback coming into the league with actual people to throw to.
yeah.
How crazy is that?
And one of them seems to be Josh Gordon with
Yeah.
his head on straight.
Yeah.
And Jarvis Landry on the other
Jarvis
side.
Landry, yeah. It's going to be good.
Come
Not
on, man.
too
2 and
bad.
David
14.
Njoku. David Njoku
Yeah.
is a piece of a tight end. And I think he's underselling the Pittsburgh defense massively. There are names on that Pittsburgh defense that he is not crediting. So I'm not even going to get too much into it because he doesn't know what he's talking about. ASMR says for his AFC North standings, he's got Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. Sixers JT comes in. ATD, what's good?
What's up, brother?
What's up? And then he says Nathan Peterman named the Week 1 starter for Buffalo L.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Josh Allen, he was picked 7th.
He's not ready.
Got beat out by Nathan freaking
He's
Peterman.
not ready.
He's not ready.
That's
guess
that
not.
simple.
He's
Yeah.
just not ready.
Yeah, he's a little bit
He
of a
needs time.
project.
He needs time. He's a physical specimen, but he needs time. ASMR says Jacksonville, Houston, Colts, and Tennessee. And he has Jacksonville and the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Sixers JT says, I honestly think Jacksonville takes a step back. They already have an okay quarterback, and he put okay in quotations, so use that loosely. And they lost Allen Hurns and Robinson. And then he says, true, but that defense is beyond nasty,
Yeah.
says ASMR. JT says, the only hope is the defense. Also, Marquise Lee's out for the year. I think Houston wins the division. I actually could see that.
It's a fair point.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Houston wins it over Jacksonville.
But
to be
yet
honest.
another thing, like what he was saying, can Houston finally stay healthy?
Yeah.
Can J.J. Watt play a full season?
Yeah.
Can Clowney play
Play
a full season?
Good point.
Can Tyrann Mathieu play a full season without getting injured as well?
Yep.
It's another question.
Exactly. ASMR, they talked some Phillies, but then ASMR says Chargers should.
That's baseball, Charles.
That's baseball. Chargers should finally be good this year. Sixers JT says it's about time the Chargers win. It's about time the Chargers win and make the playoffs. I've always liked them for some reason.
Me too. I mean, probably
Yeah.
because of Phillip Rivers, but
Yeah.
and I love
yeah.
LaDainian Tomlinson and
Oh,
Gates.
yeah.
And I
Exactly.
love Darren Sproles when he was with them.
Yep.
And their uniforms are cool.
They're awesome. They're
I
awesome.
You like the powder blues?
I like the
Powder
powder
Blues
blues.
are awesome.
Yeah.
ASMR says Phillip Rivers deserves it. David Roscoe says Chargers will kick ass. Rams will kick ass this year.
I think I've always wanted to see the Chargers do well. It left a bad taste in my mouth when Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers got drafted, and Eli Manning refused to sign with San Diego.
Yeah. Yep.
I just feel like you
It's like,
should.
what the hell?
Well, you
Yeah.
should. First of all, they still gave him the honor of being the first overall pick, and to me, you don't want to go there. You don't deserve that honor then.
Yeah.
And it always left a bad taste in my mouth
Yep.
from that. I disliked Eli before he was actually a Giant because of the fact that he would not sign with the Giants. And
Chargers,
with the
yep.
Chargers, and he had to play in New York.
Yeah.
So I think since
Big
then,
baby.
I've been
Spoiled brat.
more so on the San Diego boat, or L.A. now, of wanting to see them do well
Mhm.
because I've always wanted to see Phillip Rivers be able to have that, clap back
Yeah.
to
Yep.
any conversation when compared to Eli.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Just to finish off, Sixers JT says Bradley Chubb wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. David, imagine an LA Super Bowl. Oh dear Lord.
let's not imagine.
Oh, let's not imagine that. Do you guys think the Browns are better than the Bengals? Yes.
That'd be
The
Ralphie's
Browns
wet
better
dream.
than the Eagles.
Ralphie-
Browns better than the Bengals.
Bengals.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
That's Ralphie's wet dream in LA
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You LA crumb.
Oh God.
You gonna wear your Lakers jersey during that?
No.
You crumb.
God. All right. So AFC playoff picture then. You want to go first?
Yeah. So I was just making sure there was no other ones on.
Yeah, we're caught up.
Yeah. So I have the first round bye. I have Jacksonville and the Chargers getting the first round buys more so
okay.
than over the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Wait till you see mine.
I have the Chargers playing the Patriots in New England for the conference championship. And then I'll give you my
what
Super Bowl
is
prediction
later.
after. But that's what I have. I have the AFC coming down. Chargers against New England in New England.
I have. So I'll work my way up to that. So the seeding I have is
Well, no, I have to take that back. I have it would be in LA
in LA. Okay.
because I have the Chargers getting
Yeah. I have the
first round
Chargers.
bye.
I have the Chargers as the number 1 seed. Again, I said big year. I meant it. Chargers as the number 1 seed. The Steelers as the number 2. New England as the 3rd. Jacksonville as the 4th. The wild cards are the Ravens and the Texans.
Okay.
I have in the wild card round, I have the Jaguars.
Did I
beating-
say my wild cards? My wild cards were the Texans and the Chiefs. I
Okay,
don't think I said
Texans
them.
and
I
Chiefs.
apologize
Okay.
for that.
Cool. Wild card round, I have the Jaguars beating the Baltimore Ravens. And here's the shocker. I have the Houston Texans defeating the New England Patriots.
No fucking chance.
In the rematch of that classic game from last year where Deshaun Watson almost beat the Patriots. I have them upsetting the Patriots in New England, pulling off the miracle.
It's a bold call.
And again, putting the question out there as, is the Patriots dynasty over? So, that's my big shock for the wild card.
So my question would then be follow-up. Does Tom walk away after that?
Oh, you have to. I would.
And I feel like Gronk would probably walk away
Yeah.
after that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think Gronk definitely more so.
Does Bill walk away too? Do they all go
They
out?
all go like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I'm done.
I'm
Clock
done,
hit
guys.
zero.
See you guys.
Clock hit 0. I'm done, guys. I'm done.
It'd be like half-baked. F you.
Yeah.
You're cool. F you. I'm out. See ya.
Exactly what it is.
You see Robert Kraft like,
Yeah. In the back. Yep.
AFC divisional round, I have the Steelers getting revenge from last year's loss and defeating the Jaguars at home. And the home field plays a difference again there. The Chargers, I have defeating the Houston Texans because Houston is emotionally exhausted from defeating the Patriots. So I have that. So it comes down to, in the AFC Championship, the Steelers versus the Chargers.
okay.
So I got Jacksonville getting a bye first, and Pittsburgh are my number 1 and 2 seeds.
Okay.
My wild cards are the Chiefs and the Texans.
Okay.
AFC Championship game is going to be Jacksonville and Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Jacksonville, Kansas
Okay.
City.
Yep.
You think that an Andy Reid coach team
I
with
think
all
I-
those
With
good
Patrick
teams
Mahomes.
in the AFC?
All them
ballsy.
good players.
Good.
Hey, I don't
Goddamn.
mind it. I don't mind it.
Huh?
But Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, in his first year as a starter, comes out and goes to the AFC.
Well, I mean,
Conference
if Mark
championship.
Sanchez can do it, Pat
Yes.
Mahomes can do it, right?
And what's going to happen when Kareem Hunt tears his ACL this year?
But don't you say that.
Don't you say that. I'm going to ignore that. All right, so are we going to Super Bowl predictions now?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I have
Okay.
the Eagles and the Chargers in the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Eagles and Chargers.
And I I'm only going to pick the Eagles because it's my team, but I actually legitimately believe that the Chargers have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. I just have this feeling
I'm with
about the Chargers that this may be their year.
you. Yeah.
And I'll say this. If we're going to lose the Super Bowl this year, if we get there, and we're going to lose to another team, that would be a team I would be totally
Cool with.
because I feel like Phillip Rivers deserves the moment.
Yeah.
And his window is closing.
Yeah, very fast.
So I believe that this is his best shot to get there and get it done. And again, my heart's going to pick the Eagles because it's my team.
Yeah.
I'll never root against them. My head is picking the Chargers to win the Super Bowl this year.
I don't blame you there. Chargers are one of my. Obviously, I had them making the AFC Conference Championship, so they were in heavy consideration to make it to the Super Bowl. But I said it earlier, but I have the Eagles beating the Packers at home in Philly, in a classic showdown between Wentz and Rodgers, by the way, like a shootout. And then I have the Steelers edging out the Chargers, in LA. I think playoff experience is the difference there. That's what makes it the Steelers game, which leads to the Keystone State Super Bowl of the Eagles versus the Steelers.
I don't want to see that.
And I have, and if you go on my article, you'll be able to read it. I have the Steelers coming out to a very early and big lead, but then at the end of the third quarter, I have the Eagles making a comeback, forcing turnovers, Wentz throwing touchdowns, and then I have them scoring a touchdown as time expires, but I have Doug Peterson deciding to go for 2 instead of kick the tying field goal. And I have Wentz hitting Darren Sproles in the end zone for the 2-point conversion as time to have as a true walk-off score and win the Super Bowl.
Dougie P would have to have the biggest set of grapefruits.
Yeah.
in the
He
world
already
to
does.
make that call.
Yep.
I think he
I
really
don't-
would. I think he really
don't
would.
know.
I think he would do that.
Hey, if he did it and it was successful, he'd go down a folk hero
He
in
would.
sports.
He would.
I don't think that I don't know that he would do
I
that.
think he would.
But-
Riding on this, okay, if this was going to be their first Super Bowl, then I don't think he would do it. But with them being defending Super Bowl champions and going for back-to-back, I think he would. I think he would have the balls to make that call.
My response to that would be Dougie P makes great adjustments, second half and otherwise, right?
Mhm.
If they have that much of a momentum swing in the fourth quarter and going into overtime,
Mhm.
I feel like he would have the confidence in his players that if they tie the game and play in overtime, that he believes in his players that they could come out on top,
Mhm.
as opposed to just going balls in all or nothing.
Yeah.
Because, you're taking a big shot of
That's
being the hero or the villain.
That's a good point, but I'll say this as a counter. It's because he respects that Pittsburgh offense way too much.
Maybe.
With Big Ben.
I don't
and
know he
Le'Veon Bell
respects it
AB.
that much, but maybe.
So that's why I say if it's there, 2 yards away, and you just need one play to win the Super Bowl in historic fashion, I think he has the balls to do it. But that's just my opinion. I mean, we'll see if that actually ever does happen.
If that
but-
actually happened, that would be like the greatest prediction.
I
of all
don't know
time.
if I would survive. I think I'd have
I'll
a
give
heart
you.
attack.
I'll give you $1,000 if that happens. Seriously, I'll give you my house.
I'll give you everything I own. You
Oh
can have
my
it.
God, Ralphie.
All right, so the NFC Championship game, I had the Rams and the Eagles in Philly. I had the Rams coming out and going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Okay.
I had Jacksonville and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I have Jacksonville winning that one.
Okay.
So in Atlanta will be the Rams in Jacksonville. I have Jacksonville finally gets the first Super Bowl.
Wow.
Ooh,
Okay, you're all in
wow.
on Jacksonville this
Yeah.
year.
I don't blame you. I mean, Jacksonville very could win again.
Blake's gonna hold that championship Super Bowl trophy up, that MVP.
And then he gets traded in the
That
offseason.
He does what Nick Foles couldn't do.
Yeah.
And he gets traded.
He gets traded. Yep. Yep. Yep.
That would be.
I would give you $1,000 if that happened.
That would be an epic ending.
It would. It would.
Oh boy.
And they don't even wait too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
the
right
after
after the
party.
game.
Bortles have been traded. Enjoy.
So in the end, I have the Chargers. Chucks has the Eagles, of course. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
I'm going for repeat.
And Ralphie has Jacksonville.
Yep.
Mhm.
So if anybody who thinks we're all homers, we're not all homers.
Not all homers. Awards.
Awards. So
This is gonna be fun. I like this.
all right. So I have Offensive Rookie of the Year for me, Saquon Barkley. I think he's absolutely going to steal this award this year. Geis would have been competitive with him, but I still don't think Geis would have taken him over.
Okay. Again, it would have been Geis, but Saquon Barkley should be the favorite. But I'm going to go out of left field again. Out in left field, out of left field, or whatever, however the phrase is. I'm going to go Anthony Miller.
Okay.
My much
I don't
talked
hate it.
about guy that I keep hyping up. I'm going to stick by him, and I'm going to say that he's an integral part of the Bears season, and he has a season much like OBJ had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I have Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I gotta go Saquon as well.
Saquon.
I think Saquon is the favorite to win it. I think he is gonna get it. Yeah, I got Saquon as my Rookie of the Year.
So let me ask the question. If the Browns win 9 or 10 games and squeak into a wild card, and the Giants with Barkley, do you think, because I think it would be much more of a surprise for Baker Mayfield, say, to have that type of a season, to carry them from where they've been to the point where they're winning possibly 10 games and making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Do you think he beats out Saquon? If the
If it
Giants
goes, if
win,
it goes down that route, what you were saying, I think Baker has it wrapped up.
if the Giants win 10 or 11 games, and the Browns win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs, say both of them are wild card teams, do you think that Baker ends up beating out Saquon? I
Yeah.
do.
I do.
I think just from
Storyline and
talking about the impact that a guy has on a team
Yeah.
from where one year to the next,
It'll be tough. It'll be really tough to pick one.
but I think Barkley's going to end up.
now at
Yeah.
the same time, if Barkley really has, say like Barkley has like 1,500 yards from scrimmage, and Baker, the Browns' success is hindered is because of their defense, and Baker really only has pedestrian
Well, that's
stats,
different then.
Then I'd say Barkley. But assuming that's just not the case, I think like in a vacuum, I think Barkley wins it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, sorry, I think Baker wins it. Yes.
Yeah. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'll lead it off, and I'm going to say that it's going to be the second year in a row where the offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year are from the same team. I'm going to go Roquan Smith, the linebacker from Chicago. I think he has tons of potential. I think he's a stud already, and I think he has the potential to be the next great Bears linebacker in that lineage of great Bears linebackers. Give me Roquan Smith.
I got Bradley Chubb from Denver. I think the attention is still going to be on Von Miller because he's still that superstar type of end, and adding Bradley Chubb to the other side, it's going to be a lot of one-on-ones for Bradley, and let's see what you can do. And I think he can take the Rookie of the Year for the defensive side.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be Bradley Chubb. I think that he's going to – I know that you said you think he's a little bit of a project, but I think he's going to develop very quickly under the tutelage of Von Miller. And I could make the argument that 5 years from now, no matter what Saquon Barkley does, 5 to 6 or 7 years from now, we look back at this draft and Bradley Chubb was the best player drafted out of this draft.
I agree.
Big statement. Okay. All right.
I think it's a very good possibility.
Gotcha.
Offensive MVP.
So offensive player of the year.
Yeah, player of the year.
Player of the year. Okay.
I
You
just
go,
call him
Chubbs.
MVP.
You go.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. I really wanted to give this to Kareem Hunt, but I'm not going to because I don't have
You're not going to need to. He's going to tear his ACL
Yeah,
week
stop.
4.
I don't have the Chiefs. How can I put it? I don't have the Chiefs doing well enough So, I have it as Le'Veon Bell because I just think he's going to be so angry and he wants that contract. I really just think he's going to like do things where we already put him as like arguably the best running back in the league. I think he's going to do things to show that he's on another level. I think he's going to play like a man possessed. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to even matter. I think he's going to start off with a slow first game or two, but after that, I think he's gonna. I think it's possible. It wouldn't surprise me if he has multiple games where he goes 100 and 100, where 100 yards receiving, 100 yards rushing, and he has more than one. I know that's that's rare, but I'm saying that I think Bell is going to play that possess this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Le'Veon Bell as well. I mean, this is his I guess his statement to the league, like, I need my money, man. You know,
Yeah.
and I think the Steelers are just gonna run him into the ground because honestly, I don't think he stays in Pittsburgh after this year.
Oh, he won't. Yeah.
And for Pittsburgh fans out there, I don't know how you guys haven't given him his money yet. Honestly, he's probably one of the best backs in the NFL as of right now. You gotta give his money.
Yeah, he deserves it.
And I think he's gonna do what he does, and he's gonna perform like he always has, and I think he's gonna take this award
Exactly.
easily.
I think a lot of Pittsburgh fans would agree with your statement. Why have we not paid him
Yeah,
yet?
seriously.
That being said, I had him in consideration, but my reservations with him is no players ever been able to replicate back-to-back years the way he did last year to the next year. Our case, we've seen it. DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
It's very similar type of a year than what Le'Veon had last year. Clearly wasn't able to replicate that the following year. So I have my concerns with that.
Yeah.
I think he's still going to have a phenomenal year. I considered putting Phillip Rivers in there because I really believe that this is going to be a year. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. But I'm going Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be a man on a warpath this year. I believe that he's going to come back, and he's going to show the league that he is the biggest difference maker of anybody in a league as far as what the transformation of a team with or without being the identity of a team. I think Aaron Rodgers has a monster year this year.
Gotcha.
So for me, offensive player of the year is definitely Aaron Rodgers.
Gotcha. Defensive player of the year. This was probably my favorite one to pick because I really like my selection. Myles Garrett. Like, he looks absolutely unblockable. And you talk about everyone had an expectation for Jadeveon Clowney, like he was going to be the next great defensive lineman. I think Myles, and this was before the injuries, and then now the injuries have prevented him from being that physically. I think Myles Garrett is what Clowney was supposed to be. Well, not is. I will be what Clowney was supposed to be. Myles Garrett is a freaking beast. He's an animal. I think he's absolutely unblockable this season. I think he's going to be close to setting the record in sacks. Give me Myles Garrett as Defensive Player of the Year.
Could you see how crazy the year would be if the Browns come to make the playoffs? Baker Mayfield wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year. How crazy would that be? You talk about a swing.
Yeah.
You know, from being essentially the laughing stock and the punchline of the league. I hope it happens for them. I have Jalen Ramsey. I just think Jalen Ramsey. I love Jalen Ramsey. I love his swagger. I don't see him as being a cocky guy. I just think he's a confident dude. I think he speaks the truth, and he gets out there and he balls out. He plays. He gets on the field and he backs everything up that he says. To me, he's definitely one of the top 3 overall defensive players in the entire league for me. And I think Jacksonville is going to have another phenomenal year that will support the argument for him to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, my Defensive Player of the Year is going to be no other than J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt, okay.
I think J.J. has
Throw a backbone in there. I'm gonna say J.J. Watt.
Gotcha.
I always like J.J., and it wouldn't shock me
If he
at all.
can stay healthy. That's all.
Yes.
He can stay healthy.
Exactly.
That's true. It's true.
Exactly. Let's run down some YouTube comments before I have a few more awards, but let's run down some because I know we've had a few. Let's see. Sixers JT says, I'd love to see Pats lose in the playoffs, especially if it's against the Chargers. Roscoe, of course, says Rams will win a Super Bowl. JT says that'll be a great ending for Phillip Rivers' career. Do you think he would retire if he won the Super Bowl?
I think he would continue. He's still. I mean, he's got a lot left in the tank. I think he's probably got at least another 3 or 4 productive years left.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he. We're not talking about a guy who's on his last leg. I think he would be. I think he'd continue to play.
Yeah.
He'd be fine.
Sixers JT says Eagles and Vikings for the NFC Championship again. ASMR says I think it's going to be Packers and Eagles. Sixers JT says Packers defense is iffy, but without a doubt, Aaron Rodgers carries them to the playoffs. ASMR says I don't know, Ralphie. I can see the Rams missing the playoffs. I think they're overhyped. Dream teams never work. Sixers JT says I say Sam Darnold is offensive rookie of the year. I see him balling out as a rookie. ASMR says I can see that. Jaleel Harris says Chubb. I'm guessing Bradley Chubb for defensive rookie of the year. Vespi says I'm tired as hell. Gotta get some sleep. But for my no huddle, holy hell, that cheesesteak from Dallas Angeles was deliciously orgasmic. Anyway, fly Eagles fly. Good night.
Thanks, Frank.
I gotta check out Dallas Angeles still. Citrus JT says defensive player of the year goes to JJ Watt, so he agrees with you for Ralphie. ASMR says if he stays healthy. ASMR says always been a Geno's guy. No violation. Tourist trap. So many different better places. Go to Woodrow's. Go to Iska Bibbles. Go to original Tony Luke's on Oregon. They're all better than Geno's. And Sixers JT says I think JJ Watt finally has a full season. He comes back and wins defensive player of the year. All right. I decided on this award. I don't know if you guys did or not, or if you want to do like a spur of the moment pick, but comeback player of the year, I have David Johnson.
Oh, I would agree with that. I think
Yeah, I
David
would agree
Johnson's
with
going to
Yeah,
have a
David
monster
Johnson. Yep, he's gonna come back and be elite again. Let's do coach of the year first. Coach of the year, because of the Chargers' big season I have Anthony Lynn as coach of the year.
I agree.
Anthony Lynn.
If the Chargers make the playoffs and go far, I got him.
You got
I got Anthony Lynn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then MVP, the big one. I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to say Carson Wentz. I'm going to say Carson Wentz misses the first 2 games, comes back week 3, is slow for a game or 2, but then absolutely resumes the same form as he did last year. Throws touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, ends up leading the league in touchdowns again, and has an even better statistical season this year in the 12 games than he did last year in 13.
I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, to me, there's no doubt. I think Rodgers has a big year. Backtracking the coach of the year, though, again, if the Browns make the playoffs this year, I could see Hugh Jackson getting a strong consideration for that job or for that award.
Yeah, he would.
And it would be really tough not to give it to him. So even if the Chargers do have a really great season, again, year over year, the difference would be huge. So, but no, I to me, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's going to be the MVP.
That's a good point. Sorry. That's a good point because last year it wasn't necessarily a team with the best record. Because obviously Doug Peterson had the best record. It's a team that they felt make the best jump. So Browns going from 0-16 to making the playoffs. I think Hugh Jackson would have a very, very, very good case. Good point.
For MVP, I have Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley
Yep,
again.
Todd
I was going
Gurley.
to say again. Even though he should have won.
Should have won it
He
last
should have won.
year.
But yes.
I think just getting snubbed for the MVP like he did last year puts a little fire to the fuel a little bit, or fuel to the fire, I should say, and gets him the MVP this year.
Gotcha. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
You know I love my running backs. I would love to see running back win MVP. MVP. So
Good stuff.
that's our predictions. Wow.
I know.
Nice.
Do a quick no huddle.
Quick no huddle. Do you want to start it off? Or?
Yeah, I didn't even know if I should spoil it, but I don't know if anybody heard. It's been leaked out there, so it's not a big
Good.
deal. The surprise from Bud Light is the Philly special statue that's going outside of the link that'll be shown tomorrow, which apparently is Nick Foles and Doug Peterson calling the play on the sideline. So I'm pretty excited to see that.
Yeah.
And again, Old Nicky. He's going to be enshrined forever
Shit.
out there.
Yep.
Do you think they're going to get the crotch area right? Is it
You'd
gonna-
have to have a big
it-
iron cast.
Is it going to
ball
be?
Right
Is
here.
it going to be to scale?
Probably.
Oh, good lord! But
Oh
no,
my
pretty cool.
gosh.
Pretty cool, and I like the idea of doing that instead of having something with like the play or the catch or whatever.
Yeah.
Having the call on the sideline
Where
because
they
it's
would,
so
yeah.
iconic
Yeah,
at this point. So, pretty cool.
I like it. My one, I only have one for this week. No huddle. My thoughts on the Khalil Mack trade, real quick. I'm going to let a few screenshots I got from Twitter be my voice as to why I think the Raiders fucked up big time with this Khalil Mack thing. Albert Breer says, "What are the Bears getting in Khalil Mack?" One ex-Raiders coach says, "When I told him they were moving him, quote, he's a relentless worker, great young man, A+ as a person and a player. He's the kind of guy you want in your building." Louis Riddick of ESPN. No logical reason for the Raiders to make this quote-unquote football move. No salary cap reason either. This has to be cash issue. Do not let guys like Khalil Mack out the door. Their loss is the Bears' gain. Brett Coleman. Here's my confusion with the trade after sleeping on it. The point of investing top 5 draft picks and huge contracts into players is because you are trying to get talents like Khalil Mack on your roster. Once you actually get one, you trade them. What's the point then? And one more thing, with the Bears having such a strong roster, those first-round picks could be extremely late in the first round. Do you honestly think that Khalil Mack is only worth 2 picks in mid to late 20s? Because to me, he's worth a hell of a lot more than that. Ted Wynn from Football Film Analysis. For the arguments of trading Mack is the quote-unquote Patriots way, Belichick probably would have made him play out his contract, franchise tag him, and then trade him when draft order is established. Didn't understand the rush to trade Mack at all. Chandler Jones is not Mack. Let's just establish that. And then Bucky Brooks of NFL.com says, the response to the Khalil Mack trade has been interesting. Some fans are screaming the price tag is too high for an elite player, but we are okay with an average QB making $20 million. It's weird how some teams want to pay the position, not the player. Great players should get their value. And I'm done.
I guess my no huddle will be with the Khalil Mack thing too. I mean, and I was watching NFL Network, and I forget who said this, but he put it this way: How can you give John Gruden $100 million but can't find the money for Khalil Mack?
Amen.
You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Amen.
The money's always there. There's something else to it that you didn't want to have Mack there for some reason.
They didn't even reach out. They didn't even reach out to Mack.
Yeah. So something must have happened behind doors that we
Yeah,
don't know, and
I don't know.
something must have went down.
Or I don't know. Or Gruden just has a big ego. I
Yeah,
don't know what it is,
probably.
but to me it's a big time fuck up. But what do we know?
Last one I'm going to do, Phillies related. Ryan Howard officially announced his retirement today. Obviously a figurehead, a huge piece of the 2008 core that brought a World Series title back to Philadelphia. So, there's some people that are bitter about, the last couple of years and, over the course of his career, did he swing at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone that he shouldn't have over and over again? Sure. But I think Ryan Howard was a class act. I think Ryan Howard was a very good player for this team. Clearly, this team would not have won a World Series without Ryan Howard. And I think that he left his mark on that 2008 team and that stretch run that they did have. And it's unfortunate. Clearly the Achilles injury that he suffered.
Killed him.
Never the same.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of people, a lot of professional athletes, they say it's very difficult to ever come back to 100% that same way. Especially you're talking about a baseball player when, a lot of your power is generated from your lower half.
Yeah.
That affects that. But again, he still was a huge part of bringing a World Series title here. And I think that he will always be a legendary Philadelphia player for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I say congratulations on a great career to you. I think we all would agree with that. And thank you for enjoyable baseball. And for me as a Cardinals fan, it's good to see a guy who killed us all the time. Whenever he went home to St. Louis to play the Cardinals, he destroyed them all the time. So, at least that's out of the league now. But, no, congratulations to Ryan. And from all of us here at A2D, from the FAM, and from, the Philadelphia sports fans, thank you for your contributions and for helping bring us a World Series title.
Definitely.
So, guys, great show tonight.
Yep.
Yeah,
we got a lot.
Fun.
We got a lot. We got to go back and pull from some clips, some predictions.
Yeah.
Telling you, I'm pulling on
We gotta
Ralphie's
save
beard
this one.
later.
We gotta save this one.
But good stuff, guys. And again, Eagles are on this week. We finally have real football.
Woo!
We're super excited. I know you guys are too. Thank you to our sponsors, Gibson Mayer, Stream Smart, Scanzano Sports. You guys are awesome. We appreciate all the contributions you guys make to us from to the fam. Again, you guys push this show. You drive this show. And if you really want to see us to the next level, you really should be joining the Real Talk group. Am I right, Ralphie?
Yep.
Yeah, we got to get everybody on
Absolutely.
that Real Talk group. It's A2D. It's your favorite personalities from A2D and from the fam interacting to the next level. Gloves are off, and we have a lot of fun. Tomorrow, we have The Fix is back.
Yep, 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Then
Without Ryan, because he's on his yacht still.
That's
but,
right.
Still hasn't fallen off, which
Come
really
on,
pisses
bro.
me off, but
Come on, bro.
Cruising around on yachts and golfing around Europe. But he'll be back next week. And then we also have AM and the PM tomorrow night as well. So, guys, get all your Eagles talk, get all your Philly sports talk here from A2D Radio. Appreciate you joining us. For Ralphie, for Chucks, for Chrome, enjoy the game. Fly, Eagles, fly, defending champions.
Woo!
We're kicking it off. We'll see you next week.